Guys, I'm back with another video for you today, and today I'm talking about woody spicy fragrances. I feel like woody spicy fragrances are perfect to wear in the autumn season or fall because I associate with woods with dryness, and the spices also I associate with dryness. So the two together make for this kind of like a dry, earthy, autumn-like experience or wear. So I've got 13 fragrances here. We've got some designers, but the majority are niche houses. If you're curious to learn about them, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, it's all about woody spicy fragrances today. Are you a fan of woody spicy fragrances? In general though, I feel like woody fragrances, if they're just straight on woods, kind of do get boring sometimes. I do appreciate or love sandalwood though. There's something about sandalwood that I really love and I associate with coziness, but general woody fragrances kind of get boring to me. So I always love them if they're like contrasted with something else. And in this case, it's all spices. Lots of spicy offerings here today from different houses. New houses, older houses, classic houses, designers, and things like that. Before I let you know about the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So do let me know if you have a favorite woody spicy fragrance. I'd like to find out. But we're starting off with the first one, going to the Egyptian house of NILAFAR Dunil. This is TOWA, this one right here. I recently featured it in a video of NILAFAR Dunil fragrances, and this is a new creation, and I'm actually wearing it now. It's quite gorgeous, it's intense, it's a bit overwhelming. But I like this because there's definitely that kind of Middle Eastern styling to this particular fragrance that you associate with, like, you know, oudi fragrances. And this definitely has oud along with coffee. There's cardamom, there's incense, there's rose, there's Egyptian jasmine, heliotrope, benzoin, and amber. But to me, I feel like there's other woods in here. Obviously, oud is a wood, but I feel like there's other woods in here, like dry woods, and the experience of the coffee rose in here adds this kind of brightness, a little light touch of gourmand in here. And then that pungent smell of cardamom is also in here with a little bit of smokiness, and you know, everything else kind of creates for an ambery dry down, woody ambery dry down. It's a gorgeous fragrance. I really like this one. I think the perfumer did a great job. And as I mentioned in the video that I did for this house, I don't know who Michelle Moellhausen is, but she's done a great job here. She created 2 fragrances for this brand. If you haven't caught my video, go catch the top 5 video for NILAFAR Dunil, and this is TOWA from that house. And I do want to mention this is an unranked list. I'm just giving you a nice collection of suggestions here for woody spicy fragrances. Moving on to the house of MARC-ANTOINE BARROIS, it's B683. So in this collection, I think this is the woodiest offering. I mean, you can go with the X-ray version. I'm going with this one because this is a little more autumn-like, whereas the X-ray is like perfect in the winter because it's so strong. This to me is very masculine, but definitely a unisex offering. I think it is a unisex offering. I can't remember all of a sudden. But it does feature saffron, violet leaves, nutmeg, black pepper, chili pepper, musk, labdanum, ambroxan, patchouli, amber, and sandalwood. You know, I love the spices in here. And then there's that ambery experience. There's the ozonic touch in here, so there's a little bit of a watery experience running throughout this one. There's the spices and all that good stuff, but it's really a classy, gentlemanly, woody, spicy fragrance. Really awesome. This is MARC-ANTOINE BARROIS B683. The next fragrance I'm talking about is going to the house of NISHANE. It's TERO, this one right here. You know, there were 3 fairly decent fragrances in this new collection of fragrances. Sadly, the one I didn't really care for was the one created by Dominique Ruppion, but I feel like TERO is definitely solid. And this is a very unique experience. It does have some light gourmandish touches. It's got that kind of like salty caramel experience, but it's lots of spices with woods. So it features notes of salty caramel, black pepper, Sichuan pepper, patchouli, cinnamon bark, vetiver, amber, and oakwood. So yeah, it's definitely got lots of woods. It's definitely got that kind of ambery dry down, and the spices, the black pepper, the Sichuan pepper. You know, the Sichuan pepper, if you ever smell it, there does have a light lemoniness in here, so that you do pick that up in here. But it's lots of salty caramel. And the other thing that I should mention, for me when I wear this one, that there's definitely the appearance of cumin, which they don't credit. It's there for me. It could be a combination of the notes. So if you're not into this note, maybe avoid this one, but if you like it, definitely check it out. I feel like it's a solid release from NISHANE, created by Carlos Benaim. This is TERO from the house of NISHANE. Moving on to the house of Laboratorio Olfattivo, this is ExpLOUD or ExpLOUD. This one right here, recently did a video on this house as well. So this one to me is kind of an aromatic take on woods, and of course there's definitely oud in here and also woods, lots of them. It's oud ajmal, oud boya, ambroxanide, black pepper, ambro star, vetiver, magnolia, gardenia, lilybell, pink pepper, nutmeg, and labdanum. So it does have, you know, light ambery traces when it's drying down. It also has smokiness. The labdanum is frankincense pretty much, so it does have that kind of smoky resinous experience. Lots of spices here though too. There's definitely the ambery musks type situation happening in here. The perfumer has used some molecular notes in here, but it's lots of oud as well. So there's a light smokiness, but it just is very, very woody and spicy. This is ExpLOUD from the house of Laboratorio Olfattivo. Do you guys know that house, and are you familiar with their fragrances? Do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Up next, going to the house of Kerosene, it's Woodhaven, this one right here. So Woodhaven is definitely lots of wood. It's like a woods overdose, and I believe I have a review of this one on the channel from many years ago with Dahlia. If you're curious to find out more about it, you can go catch it. You know, it's lots of woods and spices: cedarwood, vetiver, gaiac wood, pink pepper, black pepper, ginger, juniper, lemon, bergamot, and grapefruit. You know, it's interesting. It does have that kind of noticeable appearance of citruses contrasted with the spices and also the woods. For me, there's definitely a dusty kind of like shaved woods like experience, and definitely reminds me of autumn because there's this very autumn like dry material or dry earth kind of an experience in here. So Kerosene Woodhaven, check that out if you don't know it. I think you're gonna like it. Moving on to the house of Gucci, it's the last day of summer. This to me is autumn in a bottle. Obviously it's called the last day of summer, and it's appropriately named because there's a lot of dryness in here and spiciness. It's cedar, cypress, nutmeg, patchouli, and vetiver. It's a woods overdose, but there is some aromatics here that cypress has a very kind of green aromatic, almost herbal-like experience in here, contrasted with the nutmeg, which is a warm spice. And of course you've got the earthiness of the patchouli and the vetiver in here. So it's a great combination of earthy woods, spices together. Totally reminds you of autumn. It smells like autumn to me. So Gucci, the last day of summer at number 6. Again, this is not a ranked list. Moving on to the house of Penhaligon's, it's Halfeti Cedar, this one right here. This to me is such a great flanker to the original Halfeti, and I feel like Halfeti Cedar is my favorite of the 3. And they're all 3 created by the same perfumer, and then he's done a great job with this particular flanker. There's definitely booziness here and fruitiness. It's cedar, peach, rum, saffron, dried fruits, cinnamon, vanilla, labdanum, patchouli, tonka beans. So it does get fruity, it does get boozy, and lots of spices and earthy notes as well. And you know, it does remind you of autumn. For me, it smells like autumn, but just imagine maybe closer to Thanksgiving when it's really cold outside, you're having some booze, there's a plate of dried fruits, you know, on the table. It's that kind of an experience, you know, maybe you're sitting outside, maybe you're, you know, doing a Thanksgiving picnic. I've done that before with family. It's always fun, and you know, you've got the fire burning and things like that, and this kind of takes on that kind of an effect. I love the fruits and booziness in here, and to me it's sort of similar to the original Halfeti, but not. I mean, it's a completely new fragrance to me, and it's my favorite of the 3. It's Halfeti Cedar from Penhaligon's at number 7. Next up at number 8, we're going to the house of Freppan. This is Bois Blanc, this one right here. And yeah, this translates to white woods, I believe, so it's a very clean, woody experience. And once again, it does have a kind of an autumn-like feel to it, or it wears like autumn because it's lots of woods, but this one kind of has a kind of like wet autumn afternoon feel to it because of the violet leaves. It's got a very ozonic experience. Here, along with cedar and violet leaves, you've got ginger, rosemary, bitter orange, gaiac wood, and sage. So it's got lots of aromatics and spices and kind of a very clean woods. And I believe the violet leaves has a kind of a metallic feel, more watery, ozonic, crisp, and things like that. So it creates for a very clean wear as far as a woodsy fragrance goes. That ginger also in here kind of, you know, adds a little bite to the fragrance. Bois Blanc is a great fragrance. You know, I do have to be honest about this one also. It does remind me a little bit of something like Declaration from the house of Cartier, but it's totally different. There's that kind of reminiscence or reminder of Declaration. Bois Blanc at number 8. Again, this is not a ranked list. Moving on to the house of Javoy, it's Incident Diplomatique. This is the best fragrance to wear in the autumn. It's got this intense robustness, intensity to it, so it has great longevity. But when it's like when it's cold outside, but when it warms up, I feel like the fragrance heats up and becomes really this really powerful, amazing fragrance that people kind of stop you and ask you what you're wearing. And I love the combination of vetiver and patchouli here, so it's a woody experience. Along with the vetiver and the patchouli, you've got nutmeg here, sandalwood, and mandarin orange. So it's an overdose of woods with some warmth from the nutmeg, and then of course that light sweetness from the mandarin orange in here. It's a great scent, love it. It's Incident Diplomatique, and a great fragrance for you to try from the house of Javoy. So next up at number 10, going to the house of Atelier Oblique. This is Bohemian Woods, this one right here. So this to me feels like a church woods kind of a fragrance wear. So for me, antique woods experience is definitely the right kind of fragrance smell for me. Like when you walk into an old church or something and you can smell the age of the woods, along with some church service and the incense smoke coming through, that's the kind of feel I get with this particular fragrance, along with kind of like a green booziness from absinthe. That's really, really a delicious combination. So it has woods, iris, elemi, absinthe, incense, leather, saffron, vanilla, musk, patchouli, and freesia. You know, freesia is hardly there. Freesia is hardly there, but definitely all the other notes definitely show up. The saffron has a little leathery spiciness. The leather is in here, obviously. There's a little bit of sweetness in here. And what I love about this one is that kind of antique woods, you know, wear along with that kind of green booziness of the absinthe spiciness. So Atelier Oblique Bohemian Woods, there's a great scent. Moving on to the house of Maison Crivelli, it's Bois de Chai, this one right here. This to me is definitely an autumn experience. I think I'm going to have to be honest, these are all autumn-like experiences. Most of them are. But to me, this smells like autumn. When you're walking through a field of dried woods and dried leaves and shrubs and things like that, there's a warmth about it. There's a spiciness in the air, kind of like the earthiness in the air, and that's the kind of feel I get with this particular fragrance. It's lots of cedar with black currant, black tea, cinnamon, incense, gaiac wood, patchouli. You know, when I wear this one also, the appearance of cumin does show up lightly in there. So I don't know where that's coming from. They don't mention the cumin, but for me, I get that. But there's this kind of fruitiness in the air, kind of a feel with this particular fragrance with lots of woods. So maybe there's some like fruit trees nearby that haven't fully, you know, been picked, and you're smelling them. It's warm out. It's woody, it's spicy, and then of course the fruitiness in there. So this is Bois de Chai from the house of Maison Crivelli. I don't know if you guys know that one, do check it out. This next one to me is a perfect fragrance to wear in the autumn, even though it's kind of intense. This is Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade. To me, it doesn't smell like autumn much, but maybe a little bit, not too much, but it's oud wood, benzoin, incense, raspberry. There's a little light floral touch. There's definitely ambery experience here. And then the oud and the woods in here are definitely prominent. It's a very, very great smell, like a great creation from Louis Vuitton as far as an oud fragrance goes. And I feel like a lot of people do enjoy this one from Louis Vuitton. Probably the most popular fragrance, even though it's in the most expensive collection. So if you're looking for a great designer oudy fragrance, definitely Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade. But I feel like the reason I'm putting it here is a perfect wear for autumn. Ombre Nomade, I think it's a perfect wear for winter as well. I don't have a problem wearing this when it's warm outside or warmer outside, but Ombre Nomade by Louis Vuitton is a great scent for a woody, spicy scent for autumn. And next up, moving on to the house of Guerlain, it's Bois Mysterio, this one right here. And this is the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today, except for the bonus one. This is, again, it's very dry and also leathery. There's also some green aromatics thrown in here. So it has a green contrast, a little bit of a floral touch. So if you like the idea of very, very spicy, because there's definitely that kind of cumin touch in here as well. I don't know why, but cumin to me is like autumn. It smells like autumn, you know, this warm, dry, cold, warm kind of a contrast feel with that particular spice. But to me, this is a really, really amazing fragrance. It's also very, very intense. I love it. It's kind of beastly, it's sweaty, it's hot, it's humid, and also very dry as well. So it's myrrh, leather, cedar, patchouli, bay laurel, jasmine, and neroli. You know, the neroli and jasmine are just there to enhance it. You're not gonna wear these fragrances for jasmine or neroli. You're wearing it for the spices, you're wearing it for the leather, you're wearing it for the myrrh and that patchouli in here. So it's kind of a rough fragrance. You gotta like this kind of roughness, but it's really a solid release, and I think it's a great woody spicy fragrance. So this is Bois Mysterio from the House of Guerlain, and that's the last woody spicy fragrance for you guys. Do you know any of these fragrances? Are you a fan of them? And are you able to recommend any other woody spicy fragrances? Do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So this is a male targeted release, and I wanted to feature it as a bonus option. The rest of the fragrances that I talked about today or spoke about are all unisex. This is from the house of Cartier. It's Declaration Parfum. A great smell. It's been around, this series of fragrances has been around for a long time. Originally created by Jean-Claude Helena in 96 or 97. Then it was taken over by Mathilde Laurent, who is the in-house perfumer at Cartier. And I think it's a solid offering, and the parfum is super, super sexy as well. And even though it's male targeted, I've got fragrances here that I already spoke about that are, unisex targeted, leaning masculine, but I think women can totally pull off the Cartier Declaration Parfum. It features cardamom, bitter orange, cumin, spices, and birchwood. Super sexy, very classy, a wonderful offering that should definitely be featured in a woody spicy fragrances video. It's Cartier's Declaration Parfum. The reason I have this writing on the back is because it's a tester. Anyway guys, that's the last fragrance for you guys. You have a good one. Bye bye.